just wait for those who are not coming.
So what do you have to do?
Sentences to translate.
Like English.
Yeah, I'll give them a sentence in English, Les, and they have to translate it. Yeah, and it can be on any topic because this lot are quite good.
No, hang on, because it's starting to...
Oh no, it's all right. It's no. He can say as much as he bloody wants. Right, let me turn the doodah on. No, it's all right. I can't turn the thing on. It won't let me turn my camera on. Why won't it let me turn my camera on? There we go. Right. Tom. Pat asked me not to talk about her dog's bollocks. Pat asked me to not talk about her dog's bollocks.
Pat m'a demandé de ne pas parler du couille de son chien.
What are Dut and Lay going to become?
Du.
No, Dut and Lay.
Hey,
What are they going to become?
That's
it. Pat m'a demandé de ne pas parler des couilles de son chien. Go again.
Pat m'a demandé de ne pas parler des couilles de son chien.
Son chien.
Son chien.
Good.
Son chien.
Les.
Shave. You said shave.
What did you say?
You said you weren't going to shave for Movember, and it's gone. How can we trust you again?
I did decide to do Movember. I tell you why I did. I tell you why I did decide to do Movember for two reasons. Firstly, you know, I always talk about the little boy that I work with really super closely at Great Ormond Street. His grandpa died about a month ago, if you remember. That's why in the end, it was better I didn't do business on. And I remembered that he was called Papi Moustache. That was what we called him because he had this massive moustache. So I thought that would be a really cute way to sort of honor him. And then there's another reason why I decided to do it. Yeah, and also, you know me, I don't like being afraid of anything. And it was bothering me because I'd never wanted to do Movember before because my dad had always had a moustache when I was little. I don't like being this clean shaved. I don't like it. And I thought I'd never do a moustache because it makes me think of my dad when I was little. But I thought, sod it, screw it. That's a silly thing. So yeah, so I'll do Movember. I'll raise some money, prostate cancer, the works. And my grandpa died of prostate cancer. And then I'll just go back to being like general beardy, messy me. Lovely. Tom, another one from you. Les reminded me of the marvellous English expression, the dog's bollocks. Les reminded me of the marvellous English expression, the dog's bollocks.
Les m'a rappelé à l'expression très fantastique anglais, le cri du chien.
Now, some things, like Les, are so fantastic that you can't pop a very before them. They are superlative in nature. You can't say very fantastic in English, can you? Fantastic is enough. You can say it's most fantastic or quite fantastic, but you wouldn't say it's very amazing, would you? The same in French, you wouldn't say très fantastique. So les m'a rappelé, you don't need de. Quickly, because I want to show you the dog's bollocks we're discussing. So if you remember, when does rappeler have a de? When does it not have a de? So Claire, would you please say for me, I remember my childhood. I remember my childhood. Claire, weren't you born in Birmingham?
Sorry.
Claire, weren't you born in Birmingham?
Sorry. Hang on.
Kick him out of bed, Claire. Roll him off. Tell him to go and get dressed and listen to me.
Sorry. I can't.
Les says you've got a mouthful. Can you hear me? A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3. A, B, C, D. Can you hear me?
Sorry, no.
That's all right. I'll come back to you.
Hang on. Oh, hang on. Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Sorry, the thing kept flashing up saying my settings weren't right, so I thought you couldn't hear me.
Your settings haven't been right for years, my love. It comes after a certain age, but don't worry about it. So,
okay.
Listen, were you born in Birmingham?
No, I was born in Ireland, but I lived
You were
in
born in
Birmingham for a
Ireland,
couple of years.
but then you lived in Birmingham for a little bit, didn't you, when you were little?
Lived in West Bromwich and it was called Staffordshire back then.
Yes. Well, we're in Staffordshire here. We're very much we're just about this far away from the Shropshire border, but we are Staffordshire. Yeah, Staffordshire's a weird shape though, because there's like North Staffs, which is the pottery, the Stokies. We don't talk about them, and then yeah, and then the county changed because what was a lot of like then became West Mercia. The boundaries changed and all this stuff. Right. So the only reason I asked was because Pat thought you had a lovely voice last time, and I was explaining your vocal history. I was explaining what you've done with your mouth over the years, Claire. I was. So could you say for me, I remember my childhood. I remember my childhood.
Je me suis
Yes.
souvenu mon enfance.
Je me souviens, present tense, de mon enfance. Go again.
Je me souviens de mon enfance.
Beautiful voice. So what does je me souviens have on the end of it? Les has got a semi. Les has got a semi, Claire. What has we got after the end of je me souviens? A de.
De.
Could you now use se rappeler, which won't have a freaking de? And could you say to me, I remember my childhood? Je
me rappelle mon enfance.
Spot on. But now notice, if you said Luke reminded me to use this verb, Luc m'a rappelé blank, utiliser ce verbe. Which word goes there? De. So your poor little confused mouths don't know whether to use rappeler de or not. So rappeler de when it's remember a noun, but if it's, you know, Luc reminded me to go to the market, Luc m'a rappelé d'aller au marché. So in other words, Les reminded me the source of the expression dog's bollocks. Les m'a rappelé. Don't use a de. Yeah, don't use a de there. Okay, good. Let's go to so Claire, another one with you. So say for me, I'm not joking. When I look at them, I think they're human. I'm not joking. When I look at them, I think they're human. They look like human balls. So if you go, I'm not joking. When I look at them, we'll get Les's out for juxtaposition in just a moment. So off you go. So I'm not joking. When I look at them, I think they're human. Claire.
Je ne plaisante quand je pense qu'ils sont humains.
Spot on. Don't panic. Humain. That was lovely. Could you say to me, I'm not joking one more time? Correct verb. Go again. I'm not joking. Je ne
plaisante pas.
Pas. You guys all think you've been negative if you say no. The no isn't a negative. Go again, and this time don't use the no. Say, ouais, je plaisante pas. Just use the pas.
Je plaisante pas.
Good. It's fine to use the no, but it's not going to make it negative. Lovely. Claire, one more from you. Typically, he's lying on his belly, on his tummy. Typically, he's lying on his belly. I can't show you them. That'll be next time. Something to look forward to.
Généralement, ils l'ont allongé.
Il s'allonge. Il
s'allonge sur le ventre.
Good. Lovely. I'm going to show you the dogs, then I'm going to go home. I'm going to do some Passé Simple work. Let me turn the camera around. The dogs had such a bloody following last time. I had a message from Sarah saying, will Les and the dogs be in class? I thought, fine, as long as...
It's all blurry.
I know. It will be, Claire, if you insist on drinking as much. There you go.
Oh, that's better.
Right.
Briar, come and be cute on camera.
Come on.
It's like me, it's like me and OnlyFans. Baby. Oh, a piece of paper. Oh, you give your daddy's aeroplane back. Lovely. Is that for me?
What breed is it? What's the breed of the dog?
It's known as a very expensive.
It's a working.
It's a working Cocker Spaniel.
Oh,
baby.
Very cute.
Oh, baby. And then you've seen a big Walter. Hang on. You'll feel the vibration in Australia in a minute. Walter's going to move.
Come on. Walter, see.
He might not be the skinniest boy, but he was an athlete in his time. He was. Weren't you, Walter?
He's got a lot of lumps and bumps.
He's got a lot of lumps and bumps now, like little things that stop him walking and running as much. There, my good boy. Right, I'm going to grab my curry and I'm going to go.
Just leave me with that.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you. I'll see you.
When you come back.
Yeah, well, I'll see you Friday afternoon.
Friday.
Yeah. What time's Andrew getting here? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I don't see you tomorrow, grab.
When he locks the door.
If I don't see you, grab the key, go and have a recce, sort out what you want for the bed. I'll put some stuff out, but if you want anything else, you just customise it, yeah? Okay, I'll just grab my, welcome to Les and Pat's Kitchen. I'll just grab my curry. And then we'll do some Passé Simple work, which is very exciting. There we go. No, if you don't mind chucking it. Poppadom. What do you say, Alice? I've just got my body warmer. All right. I might see you tomorrow morning. Oh no, because you're off out doing your thing down the town, aren't you? So that's cool.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Use your
I'll see you in a
shoes.
few days.
You're
All
going
right.
to walk on your heels, aren't you, again?
I know, just to piss you off. Les, give me a cuddle. All right. Love you loads.
Yeah,
see you in a
do,
couple of
mate.
days, yeah?
See, yeah. I'll leave you, mate. Stay safe.
See you soon. Yeah.
See you soon. Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah,
for your suggestion
okay.
with the wall.
All right.
Good. Right.
Bye. My name.
Good. Right. So now let's do some work. Nathan, could you tell me 3 things you did yesterday? Nathan, could you tell me 3 things you did yesterday? I can't hear you, Nathan. Nathan? Nathan? I can't hear him.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Good. Could you tell me 3 things you did yesterday?
I met my friend's family.
Yep.
I played guitar, and I went on a picnic.
Bloody hell, that's more than most people your age do in a month. Excellent. Would you acknowledge that the verb you used is met, went, did, spoke? Would you acknowledge that that is our standard way of doing a tense in the past in English? Would we agree that, Nathan? Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. How many verb words did we use? I spoke, I went, I did, I ate. How many verb words do we have?
Just one for each.
What do we call in grammar when a verb tense has one word for it? What do we call it?
Top line.
It is, good boy, but also it is simple. It's simple, yeah? So what other tense do we use in French that has got the word simple in it?
Le futur simple.
Le futur simple. Constructionally, je vais manger versus je mangerai, which in terms of complication is more simple, is simpler. Which one is the simpler tense to use to
Je
create?
mangerai.
Do you think so? But in terms of like intellectually, which one is the easy one?
Yeah, I'd say that's easier.
Okay, because other people find it the other way around. But all I'm saying is simple doesn't mean it's an easier idea. It just means it's one verb. Just means it's one verb.
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
So le passé simple is our one word past. Brendan, demonstrate for me. How would you say I followed? I'm giving you something to do, so I'm giving you some trickier verbs. How would you say I followed, Brendan? J'ai suivi. Good boy. Brendan instinctively goes to, and Brendan, what would be I painted? I'm giving him some tricky verbs because he's done some passé simple work already. So if I gave you I painted, what would be I painted? J'ai
peint.
Well, masculine, j'ai
peint.
J'ai peint. Good. So we, as standard, have trained you to basically not worry about saying Claire spoke, Claire a parlé. Brendan went, Brendan est allé. We know to stick this 1, 2, 3 in. And we're going to learn the tense, which we basically use in books and formal writing, where we don't do that. We're going to do exactly the same as what we do in English. Exactly the same as what we do in English, which is we're going to go straight away to one simple, often called the preterite, simple tense. Now, let's say Claire had me on her lap and she was reading Cinderella to me. It would be in this. Let's say, Tom had me on his lap and he was reading Harry Potter to me. It would be in this tense. Yeah, so let's absolutely lose this concept that this is only a verb tense which we're going to use in fancy ass literature. Utter bollocks. Yeah, this is your go-to standard form of the French tense in the past for books. Let's be very careful. So Claire, if we're speaking, okay, in conversation, what's our traditional battle when we're speaking? What are the two tenses that we're deciding whether something is this or this? What are the traditional two tenses that we're trying to work out in French, whether it's what or what?
Whether it's imparfait or
Spot on. Spot on.
Yeah,
And we kind of work out whether it's a single action or whether it's not. And then that's the traditional balance that we have. That is exactly the same in a book. So you can use the imparfait just as much in a book. Where else are you likely to use descriptive tenses than in a book? What a fabulous place to use descriptive tenses. You know, the sky was this, so and so was walking. You know, all of this business. So we still have the imperfect. We're just more likely to use the passé composé as the passé simple. Yeah, we're gonna switch those for that. All right. Good. So very, very quickly for me, Nathan, would you quickly say to me, I have, you have, he has, quick as you can, go.
Wait, I didn't catch that. Sorry.
Would you just
You
say,
cut out.
I have, you have, he has, quick as you can, go. I have, you
J'ai,
have, go.
tu as, il a.
Good. First, could you now go again and could you just say the verbs? Just the verbs.
Et a.
Lovely. Could you now notice that parler, parla, and parla is what I want? And could you notice that the first one sounds like parler, P-A-R-L-E-R, or parler, P-A-R-L-E-Z, or parler, P-A-R-L-A-I-S, or parler, P-A-R-L-A-I-T, or parler, P-A-R-L-A-I-N-T. So we've got multiple forms of using parler that are spelt different ways. So could you say for me, parler, parla, parla?
Parler, parla, parla.
So that is how we're going to say in a book, I spoke, you spoke, he spoke. We are taking the have, yeah, the have, and we're sticking it on the end of the verb. So I spoke, je parlais, you spoke, tu parlas, he spoke, il parla. Do all of you get what we've done there? We've taken the have, but we've stuck it on the end of the parle. So could you just do the top three verbs for me, Nathan, using the verb toucher? Could you just give me I touched, you touched, he touched, off you go.
Je touchais, tu touchas, il toucha.
Claire, could you do the same for me with pousser? I pushed, you pushed, he pushed in a book. Je pousse.
Tu poussais, tu poussas, il poussa.
That's it. That's it. It might mentally flag up a little bit like the future, because if you think the future is like pousserait, poussera, poussera, and the untrained eye often sees this and thinks it's the future. It's not the future at all. Lovely. Tom, could you do the same for me with acheter, to buy? Could you give me I bought, you bought, he bought?
J'ai acheté, tu achetas, il acheta.
Good. So the trick is the first one is going to sound like the normally are verb. Good. Lovely. Right. You'll notice that this is changing. Yep. But we've still got AI, AS, A. All right. We can talk about the spelling as much as we want because it's a visual written tense. Lovely. Claire, would you say to me jam, hat, hair? Jam, hat, hair.
Jam, hat, hair.
Lovely. Would you now say to me am at air?
Am at air.
Lovely. And again, am at air.
Am at air.
Lovely. You are going to pop the am on the end of the trunk of your verb, of the stem of your verb. Parlam, parlat, parler. Parlam, parlat, parler. Could you just do that for me, those three? Nous parlâmes, vous parlâtes, ils parlèrent. Off you go.
Nous parlâmes, vous parlâtes, ils parlèrent.
Brendan, would you do this for me with the verb, let's say, cacher? Could you go, we hid, you hid, they hid? Off you go. Nous.
Nous cachâmes, vous cachâtes, ils cachèrent.
That's it. Am like jam, hat like hat, like hat, air like care bear. Huh? Yep. Tom, could you do it for me with the verb baiser? We fucked, you fucked, they fucked. Nous.
Yeah. Nous baisâmes, vous
Baisâmes.
baisâtes,
Yeah.
ils baisèrent.
Baiser. Yeah. Okay. Good. Now, you might go, what the fucking hell are we doing with the m in the we? Claire, what is we are in the present tense? What is we are in the present tense? Nous.
Nous sommes.
Great. That has got an M in it. So this Latin, this Latin origin that we've got, that we have, that's in a lot of other European languages. Okay, we've got this N and this M that crosses into lots of Latin languages for the, for the we. Okay, vamos, Spanish. Okay, hablamos. We've got this llamo in Italian. We've got this M presence that's basically in the we. All right. Claire, what is you plural say? Vous
dites.
Lovely. Nathan, what is you do? You plural. Vous.
Vous faites.
So we've seen T's before. Vous faites, vous dites, vous êtes. We've seen T's before. This is like the passé simple. So am, at, er. So say to me the complete one for me, would you please, Brendan? Would you say to me, I touched, you touched, he touched, we touched, they touched, Luke. Luke needs some love right now. So could you say, I touched Luke, you touched Luke, he touched Luke. Off you go. So je touche, off you go. I touched Luke in a book.
Je touchais Luc. Tu touchas Luc. Il toucha Luc. Nous touchâmes Luc.
Good.
Vous touchâtes Luc. Il toucha.
Toucher, like
Il touchait.
hair.
Touchait Luc.
Good. So in a minute, we're going to learn the two other endings for the passé simple. With the exception of the verb to come, vin, 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 van, me, vint, vindre, most of the passé simple is going to be divided into three big fuck off groups. The A, and I'm saying letter A family, with one exception, which is the E at the bottom. Then the E sound. I mean, you could say the letter I if you wanted, but it's the E sound all the way down and the U sound all the way down. So the first one is very much like the sound changes though. A, am, at, er. The letter of all of them is the letter A, apart from the letter E on the last one. So toucher, so je parlais, tu parlas, il parla, nous parlâmes, vous parlâtes, ils parlèrent. Okay, if it, you'll be reading them. You're not going to need to be coming up with these, but remember that the bottom one, when you see it, will be with the letter E. We'll come on to it in a moment. Great. So with that in mind, Nathan, could you just for me do that with the verb couper? I cut, you cut all the way down. Je coupe.
Je coupais, tu coupas, il coupa, nous coupâmes, vous coupâtes, ils coupèrent.
Good. So our top three we're using bit from have. A, like j'ai, tu as, il a. And our bottom three we're using jam, hat, and hair. Okay. Claire, could you do it for me with the verb to give? Donner. Could you give me I gave, you gave, he gave, all this business all the way down? Je donne.
Je donnais, tu donnas, il donna, nous donnons, nous donnons.
Donnam, yep. Donnam, nous donnam.
Nous donnâmes, vous donnâtes, ils donnèrent.
Well done. Well done. Claire, out of those six, which two do you think are going to be the most popular in books and why?
Probably je and so I don't know.
Think about
Who?
books. Who do we talk about the most in books? Who does stuff in the books? The protagonists do they tend to be I or he, she, they, etc.?
Tend to be I. Oh no, he or she. He or she.
Do you see what I mean? So although you do get autobiographical stuff, most of the time, books will be about a protagonist who's the third person, aren't they? The narrative will be like, Luke woke. His supple, beautiful body glistened in the moonlight. He went for a piss. Okay? He realized, oh, fuck, I need more shampoo. I mean, that sounds a thrilling text, but basically, books tend to be about third people. Yeah? Good. So you're going to see the endings a and er all over the place. So straight away, Claire, could you go for me? The verb to go, although it's weird as shit everywhere else, it is still, by definition, an ER verb. Notice I'm saying ER. I never say ER, but we're talking passé simple. So what would be straight away? He went in the book. Il.
J'allais.
Il alla. What's it going to be? Which of our endings?
Il alla. Il alla.
That's it. Most commonly in the passé simple of all the endings that you will see is the letter A. Good. Tom, they went in a book. Ils.
Ils allèrent.
Lovely. All right. Good. Fabulous. Now, when we first got going, Nathan, what were my two verb types? They were called what and what?
Composé et simple.
No. When we very first got going, when we first started learning my system, my verb types were called A and soft.
Soft hard.
That's it. All right. It's a pity we weren't still with Les for that. Aren't Les and Pat fucking ace? They are so funny. They are so funny. Don't get upset, Luke. Les was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 2 months ago. So he's literally the funniest person. Like, he's literally the quickest, wordy, play on word. Beautiful. I mean, the other day he was standing in my garden and I said I was going to plant something of this colour. He goes, oh, what a beautiful marriage of the two colours. His vocab is beautiful. It's the worst person for it to happen to. Do you know what I mean? It's so, like, we're early days. We are early days. But, like, oh, my gosh. But it's, yeah. So, but that's why he likes that people find him funny. And he likes humour. Because he likes getting it still, because he knows what's coming, you know. So yeah, it's a bit tough. Yeah, so he's a lovely bloke. Yeah, so but I think I've got him on a medical trial actually. They're ringing him back tomorrow for this drug, which is worth $100,000 per annum in the States, which possibly slows Alzheimer's between a quarter and a half. So yeah, he's on a drug trial. Fingers crossed. So. Because when Lukey loves, Lukey loves. When Lukey hates, Lukey hates. But when Lukey loves hard, and he protects people. So, good. So, if we went to the soft hard family, do not be putting all your IR and your RE, your verbs separately. This isn't how we do the passive sampler. Anything soft hard, as a general rule, is going to go into this middle group, this E group. So could you just say for me, all of you, E, 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 6 times. Off you go. Brendan, you begin. Just say E, 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 E.
E, 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 E.
Lovely. Nathan, E, 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 E.
E, 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 E.
Claire, what were the consonants that we had in am, at, air? We had mutterer, like one who mutters. A mutterer. Could you just say that back for me, Claire? Mutterer.
Mutterer.
So when we do the bottom 3 of any passive sampler verb, the nu will end in a m sound, the vu will end in a t sound, and the they will end in a r sound. Mutterer, without exception. Mutterer. So if I've got E, Claire, and I'm putting a m sound on the end, what am I going to get?
Ima.
Good, well fucking done. If I've got E and I'm putting a t sound on the end, what am I going to get?
Eat.
Good. I don't mean to be funny. I love them dearly. And my God, they're making crazy progress. But my 2 lovely girls, Denise, I didn't have Tia, to be fair, today. Denise and Brie, the eyes keep going like this and they keep trying to visualize. I'm like, just say E and just say M and put the 2 together. Just put the 2 together. Yeah, so eat. And what's the third one going to be, Claire? Eat.
Air.
Eat. Keep it on the vowel.
Eat. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So your endings for this tense are going to be, for this group of this tense, are going to be E, 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 eam, eat, ear. Let me hear it.
E, E.
Are you all right there,
E?
Tom? Did you do that
Yeah, sorry.
spontaneous
Oh,
ejaculation?
yeah.
Up you go, Tom. Could you just do that for me then? So if you're so keen, off you go. Eat ear, go.
Meet air.
Eat ear. They're all the same. Linguists, listen. No need to yawn because we should be concentrating. Off you go. Eat ear. Off you go.
Eat ear.
Thank you. Only the first group went different in the last one on the day. All right. So Claire, one of the main tricks then to finding this is if I told you. So most soft hard verbs, that's any shit which is not ER, are going to go into this E one. We've got another one in a minute, oo, and we'll talk about that then. But most soft hard verbs are going to go into this E one. A nice pattern to find is, can you already find an incarnation of the verb where you've got an E going on? So, for example, Brendan, what's the verb to provide?
Is it pourvoisir?
Fournir.
Fournir.
That's it, fournir. Go with fournir. Can you find an incarnation of fournir which ends in an E sound?
J'ai fourni.
Lovely. Lovely. As opposed to j'ai fourniqué, which is something altogether different. So, fourni. So, could you now give me E all the way down? So, I provided, you provided, he provided, off you go. Je fournis.
Je fournis, tu fournis, il fournit, nous fournîmes, vous fournîmes,
Vous fournîtes.
vous fournîtes, ils fournirent.
Good. Nice twang. Nathan, the verb to go out is what? No, let's do the verb to leave. What's the verb to leave, Nathan?
Partir.
Any form of that we know that's already got an E ending in it?
Je suis parti.
Gorgeous. So what would be I left, you left, he left? Use that as your base. It doesn't work for all verbs, but it will for a lot. So use that as your base and say I left, you left, he left in a book. Off you go.
Je partis, tu partis, il partit, nous partîmes, vous partîtes, ils partirent.
Great. There are irregulars. We will look at them in a moment. Okay. That is generally going to be where most of your soft hard is going to go. So if you've got a classic snake verb, finir, fini, 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 finim, finit, finir. Claire, I finish, present tense, je finis. Any idea how we're spelling je finis in the present tense? It wouldn't remotely bother me if you didn't know, because I like you guys to be phonetic. But in the present tense, my love, any idea normally in the present tense how we spell I finish? Je finis in the present tense. Any idea?
F-I-N-I.
F-I-N-I-S in the present
Yes,
tense.
well,
Yeah,
okay.
your fini is your j'ai fini, your past tense. Yeah. The
Yeah.
spellings of these, I want you to keep a close eye on in a moment and see how repetition happens. And you'll be like, what the fuck? But that just looks the same as da, 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 da. Just keep a north eye on this. All right. Good. Let's leave E where it is just for the moment. No, let's come up with another one. So Claire, what's the verb to put beginning with an M?
Mettre.
Do we know a format of it with me?
J'ai mis. J'ai mis.
Great. So that just tells us most of the time, not all of the time, that is going to be the format for the I put. So in a book, could you please say for me, I put, you put, he puts, whatever, all the way down. Je
mis, tu mis, il mis, nous mis.
remember, Claire, remember muttera, nous mi.
Nous
Meme, good, vous mi.
mime. Vous meet.
Good, and il mi.
Mehr.
Well done. Keep it on the same vowel. That's lovely. All right. We'll look at some irregulars in a minute. Nathan, let's do an irregular. Could you please say for me, I saw, j'ai
vu.
Great. Now, in a minute, we're going to discover that most verbs that end in an U in the passé simple, are going to be our third and final category, which is, so we've just had im, eat, ir. All of these verbs are going to have an U sound in them, all of them. And remember what Auntie Claire told us about m, t, r on the bottom three. So could you just give me now the 6 endings I'm going to need in the final group? So they're going to have that vowel I've just given you all the way down, and they're going to have the m, t, r on the bottom 3. So what are the 6 endings I'm going to want for this group?
U, ut, ur.
Good. Lovely. The verb to have is what in the past participle? J'ai
eu.
So would you please say for me, I had, you had, he had, we had, they had, you plural had, they had, the bread. the bread. Let's say I had the bread, you had the bread, he had the bread. Off you go in the book. Off you go.
Je le pain. Tu le pain. Tu le pain.
Tu le pain. Because in proper
Tu
French,
le pain.
would you please say to me, Nathan? Would you please say to me, I like?
J'aime.
Would you please say to me, you like in proper French?
Tu aimes.
We do not join together in classy French. We can say it in slang French, t'aimes quoi, what do you like? But in proper French, we keep the tu and the vowel separate. So if it's je, I had, you had, tu
Tu eus.
he had, keep it all
Il
going down.
eut.
Yeah.
Il eut. Nous eûmes. Vous eûtes.
Now I'm going to want
Il.
it ou, zoom, vous. I want to hit ou to the u, ou to the u. Up we go. So je, tu, il eut, nous eûmes, vous eûtes, ils eurent.
J'eus, tu eus, il eut, nous eûmes, vous eûtes,
Nice vowel slide, kiddo. That was
ils
brilliant.
eurent.
That's right. Now that might be batshit horrible for you, but that is great. Little jumping ahead, because this is a 2-week project. There are other, I also think this is quite good for Tom. There are other literary tenses where we use, so every fucking tense you've used so far. Who was it earlier? Was it Tom that made my nipples hard by saying top line? Was it you? Was it one of you said top line? Who was it?
That
When I
was
said-
me.
That was you. But when you
Yeah.
were both saying my nipples hard. So basically, the fact is, everything we've done so far has gone in the Lukey system. Has gone present, was, will, would, subjunctive, infinitive. Present, was, will, subjunctive, infinitive on the bottom line. Agreed? It is exactly the same with this. Present, was, will, would, subjunctive, infinitive, passé simple, imperfect subjunctive, present, was, will, passé simple, imperfect subjunctive on the bottom line. So you've got 4 tenses. This is one of the 4 to learn, and there are no more tenses in French, and I'm including classical literature. You won't use 3 of those 4 regularly. You'll just come across the passé simple. You don't need to create any of those 4. It's nice to know historically that you've got them all covered. If you went on wordreference.com, as I was saying to Bren earlier, they're just fucking grey. They are grey on the lineup because you don't use them in modern literature so much. But as in, like, you know, archaic, don't worry about it. But it's nice to know that you know what they are. Great. So most verbs that are going to end in u in the past participle are going to go to u, ut, ur. So what Claire is I have had to. What's I have had to? J'ai
eu.
The verb to have to, not to have. I've had to.
Oh. J'ai dû.
Lovely. Therefore, what is I had to, you had to, he had to in a book? Now, let's be honest. We're talking about a situation where orally you would say j'ai dû. If you needed to say je devais, that shit can stay where it is. All right? So if your past participle is j'ai dû, can you now give me in the third group? So just to remind you, most of the time in the third group, if your past participle likes an u, then you are going to keep it in the u family. So could you please say to me, I had to leave, you had to leave, he had to leave, we had to leave, you had to leave, all the way down.
Je dû.
Yeah, keep going. Je dû what? Je dû
partir. Je dû
Tu-
partir.
Yep.
Partir.
Yeah. No, so je dû partir.
Tu
c'est
eus.
un verb. Tu dû partir, he had to leave, il dû.
Je eus dû partir. Je
Listen, je
Tu
dû
eus.
partir, tu dû. We're just using the verb devoir, aren't we? Je dû partir, tu dû
Oh, we're
partir.
just
Keep
going.
Yeah.
dû partir. Tu dû partir. Il eut.
What's the new one going to be?
Une.
Careful,
you.
Claire. So we're not using have as in avoir. We're using devoir. So it's going to be do every time. Yeah.
Ne dûmes.
Yeah.
Ne dûmes partir.
Good.
Vous dûtes partir.
That's it.
Ils eurent
Dur partir. Lovely. It's hard to say, isn't it? It's very weird. Well done. Great. Brendan, can you think of any of the verbs off the top of your head that end in u in the past tense?
Su, savoir.
Okay, so off you go.
Je su, tu su, il su, nous sûmes, vous sûtes, il sur.
Sûr. Now, when you get into some verbs, much in the same way as when you have in the passé simple, you are going to have a situation where your choice, I'm trying to find where my charger is, your choice to use the active one, like in Spanish, incidentally, if you do this, so this tense, by the way, this is interesting, like within Europe. So no, that's the fire. I don't want that. So in Spanish, this exists as standard. Like this is the normal way to speak. We have the same as in French, the form with the have in the middle. We have an auxiliary. He hablado, has hablado, hablado, and we've got hablé, hablaste, habló. Italian has both. So more in the north, they favor the version which is like the French, which has the auxiliary. Yeah, like ho parlato, hai parlato. And then in the south, we've got a version which is going to use like the preterite. Yeah. And they actually overuse, respectively, the one and the other, whether you're in the north and the south. So we used to have this in French as standard. But that said, so those sorts of patterns to one side, Spanish too, other languages too, there's a subtle difference sometimes as to what your verb means. So sometimes it's kind of like, I knew, like I found out. Like it's kind of got that quality of like all of a sudden kind of thing, So sometimes there's a subtlety to it. Good. So, Brendan, what's the verb to be able to? Sorry, what's the verb to have to?
Devoir.
What's the verb to be necessary?
Falloir.
Great. So, how would you say? What would that be in the passé simple?
Il fallut.
Great. Lovely. Before we move on, Tom, what do we call a situation when we've got a reflexive in the past, in the passé composé? What do we call that situation? We call it the
poetry past.
Which is comprised of what? Give me the poetry past. Je me
suis allé. It's comprised of a reflexive and an auxiliary and the past participle.
Gorgeous. Well, yes, the poetry in the past. So the subject pronoun, the reflexive pronoun, and the auxiliary, the verb to be, and the past participle. We don't have no fucking auxiliary in this tense. So why don't you, off the top of your head, get naked for me, Tom, get in the shower, make Lukey happy. Could you say for me, I washed, you washed, he washed, we washed, you plural washed, and they washed in the passé simple, bearing in mind there ain't going to be no verb to be in the middle.
I'd rather get in the shower.
People, we heard that here. That's consent. That's consent. That's consent. Off you go.
God.
Stand still for 1 second. Listen to me. Listen to me. Let's stop. All of you panic on this. But can I remind you that you've been doing this with the fucking was tense for ages? If I asked you to go into the was tense, je me lavais, tu te lavais, il se lavait, nous nous lavions, vous vous laviez, il se lavait, you wouldn't panic. If I asked you to go into the would tense, je me laverai, tu te laverais, il se laverait, nous nous laverions, you'd be fine with that. You're used to doing tenses like that. All I'm asking you to do is just, so people go, oh my God, I've got to come up with the poetry part, then I have to remove it. Then, no, just go to your je me conjugate, tu te conjugate. Yeah, do it that way rather than extrapolating it from the poetry past, if that makes sense. Off you go, Tom. So je me
lavais, tu te lavas.
You've got it. Your brain is in the right place. Keep going.
On se lava. Nous nous levons.
Stand still. What is the infinitive of the verb that we're playing with?
Laver.
So are we in the A group, all the E's, or all the U's? Which group are we in?
We're in the A group with all the...
And can I remind you that it's going to go letter A, apart from the letter E at the end. Laver, lava, lava. So the top three work from have, don't they? The top three work from the verb to have. And then we've got Claire's jam hat, hair business. Yeah. All right. So je me lavais, tu te
je-
lavas, il se lava, nous.
Nous nous lavâmes, vous vous lavâtes, ils se lavaient.
Well done. All right. Good. Claire, what's the verb to give?
Donner.
What would be straight away? He gave me. We don't have to worry about il m'a donné. We haven't got to worry about the auxiliary. What would be that in a book? What would be that in a book? What would that be in a book? Il
me donne.
in the book, il me donne.
Donna. Il me
That's
donna.
the fucker. Well done, Claire. Good job. All right. Lovely. Brendan, what would be they bought them in a book? They bought them in a book.
Il les achèterait. Il a acheté. Il a acheté.
Brendan, say for me, I spoke, you spoke in the book. Je parlais, tu parles. Go all the way down.
Well,
No. I'm teaching this wrong. Could you use Claire's 3 buzzwords? Jam, hat, and what's the last one?
hair.
That's it. I should have said air, really. It's just that I always used to teach you get your jam. You've got jam on your fingers. You take your hat off, you get it in your hair. It just for some reason it helped people. I mean, that's some fucking tripped up shit. But basically, so basically, yeah. So in other words, il les, and what's the conjugation going to be of donner in the they form? Il les donne.
Il les donnerait. No, il les donne. Pardon. Il les donnait.
Thank you. Donner, donna, donna, donnam, donnat, donner. It's going off the end of your stem. Yeah, it's going off the end of your stem. Yes. All right.
Yes.
Good. Lovely. Let's have a little butchers then at some other. No, let's just do a couple more things. No. Let's crack on. So we'll have a little look because I want to get into some reading. No, one more thing before we read because I think this is nice to do visually, not non-visually. Brendan, what is I saw? J'ai
vu.
Great. So it's an U one. So Nathan, according to the system, because it ends in an U, which of the 3 groups should it be in? It isn't, but which of the 3 groups should it be in?
U.
Lovely. Ooh, Nathan. Claire and I are going to WhatsApp about the virility of that voice later. That was lovely. We will. Honest to God, you've made 2 old broads really happy. So lovely. Just don't grow that fucking beard back. So I, on the other hand, am racing to grow mine back. I'm like, let's raise some fucking cash for November so I can grow the beard back. Yeah. So if I said vu, I'd be wrong. Think vision. Yeah. Visibility. So it's vim, vit, vir. Let me hear you say it.
Vi, vim, vit, vir.
Vim, vit, vir.
Vi, vim, vit, vir.
Good. Tom would hear that as a bit of a Bruce Forsyth, VVV kind of thing, but yeah, there you go. Right. Okay, so next little irregularity. This crops up in Spanish, this crops up in Italian, this crops up in Welsh. You'll be like, the verb to be, S and E. What the fuck is an F doing there? Could you say for me, Brendan, fume, fut, fur?
Fume,
Good. This is the verb to be in the passé simple. Can I remind you that this is a shit show? Because in English, we do not have a short form of the verb to be. Claire eats, Claire ate. Claire swims, Claire swam. Claire drinks, Claire drank. A lot. Claire is, Claire bead. There's no past tense of the verb to be. Claire was is the imperfect, which we throw around all over the shop. Claire has been. Yeah, that's the present perfect, which is fine. That's fine. So you'll notice already, and every single one of you in this group, as with every single one in the other group, has already beautifully for me used. We've spoken about the difference when was isn't was. So Nathan, demonstrate for me. How would you say for me, London was bombed last night? If we were referring, no, let's be fucking topical. Let's just say Israel was bombed, Palestine was bombed. Oh God, I wish the fucking pair of them would stop. Oh, so say for me, let's just say for me, no, let's keep this a political safe space, because no, that's bullshit, because they can't escape shit, so why should we fucking we? So could you please say for me, Israel was bombed? How would you say Israel was bombed if we're speaking to one about one event? How would you say Israel was bombed last night? Nathan.
Israël a été bombé.
Bombardé. Yep.
Bombardé.
Lovely. Okay. Lovely. As was fucking Palestine. Oh, so basically, notice then that even though we're saying was, we're referring to an action. So was is not always going to be the was tense. This in French is fut, and this, of all the passé samplers that leak into posh conversation, fut will sometimes. So if you're saying, oh, it was difficult, and you're being referring to a quick process of, ce fut difficile, then you will catch that. All right. If I was saying the castle was destroyed, le château a été détruit. If I were reading on a kind of sign next to a monument, the castle was destroyed, le château fut détruit. So it takes on a passive form. Yeah, it takes on this kind of copular, like, the castle was destroyed form, very fucking commonly. All right. Not now, but in a minute, no, probably next week, we've already learned have and be. So we can straight away use the past historic, which is basically the equivalent in books of your had. So for example, if I say Luc has eaten, Luc a mangé, in a book, that is going to be Luc mangea. Luc had eaten in a past historic way. This is a bit simplification, but could be Luc eut mangé, and you will make your auxiliary the passé simple. Tom, if I've just said Luc eut mangé for Luc had eaten, and we're not touching the past historic just yet, but if I basically wanted you to say Luc had left using the past historic, bearing in mind what I just did, how do you think I'm going to pull that off? Luc?
Luc fut parti.
Luc fut parti. That's it. Yeah, Luc fut parti. All right, lovely. Good. The only other two tenses, just so you've got the mental picture complete, Tom, would be the imperfect subjunctive, okay, which exists. Yeah, say that again.
Is it like EUS?
So like parlas, hati. Yeah, hang on one second. You might as well, let's have a little look, see while we're there. Very quickly while we're all there. So then that way you can see that it's all it's not as nice as it is on a laptop. It's fucking ugly on a phone. Let's use parler.
I read, but I'm always just like, oh, it's those, and then like kind of know what it means, so never actually like interrogate the
No, exactly. So it's so pretty on the normal laptop page. I'm afraid it's a bit ugly on this. Could you click on the link, please, people? This, and then we're nearly done. We can go into looking at the passé sample, and then we can go to reading some stuff of it, and then we're doing really, really well. And it's really good because you can start buying like basic, nice little books and reading stuff. It's not that I need you to know these verbs. This is the point I try and make. It's that, so say, for example, Claire is reading a storybook and she comes across a verb and she's not seen this verb before. She needs to know from the endings what the original verb was. That's the point. That's the point, okay? Lovely. So can you all see the Parler page that I've just sent you? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So going from the top, indicative. So we've got the present. So we know that one. We've got the imperfect. We know that one. We've got the passé simple now. Let's just have a little look at it while we're there. So Claire, what are you noticing about parlam, parlat, and parler? What is going on the accents side of things?
You've got a Oh, sorry, it's so hard to see. I'm on the phone.
It is tiny, small.
Got the little, yeah, you've got the little hat on the.
That's
new.
exactly right. You've got the hat on the A of the nous and the A of the vous,
Zoo.
and you've got a
Really?
grave on the E of the they. Yep.
Yep.
Right. Can we all see the spelling? Parler, parla, parla. Yep. Okay. Future sampler. There's our simple. We come on to compound forms. Our passé composé, hit the down arrow. That's our normal past. Our plus perfect, plus que parfait, that's our had in the middle. Our passé antérieur, that's our historic past. You'll see that we've got have in the passé simple in the middle. U, SST, that's the common spelling. Ut, ur, and you'll notice once again there is a circumflex on the first vowel of the ending, like u. All right. So the vowel, it'll have the circumflex on the A, the circumflex on the I, or the circumflex on the U. Future antérieur will have spoken, would have spoken, I will have spoken, you would have spoken, etc., etc. Then we come on to the subjunctive. The present subjunctive is your main subjunctive. That's the one you know. Yep. Then in grey, parlas, parlas, parlahat, which orally sounds like your passé simple. Parlation, parlasier, parlas. Notice that those endings in a minute are going to go onto your past. Sorry, I can't finish eating. Are going to go into your auxiliaries. Then we've got the past subjunctive that we've done, which is A on AAA. The plus que parfait, so basically this is your plus perfect subjunctive. Us, us. We'll get to this. Don't worry, we'll get to this next week. Conditional we've done, and then the imperative. So basically, you're gonna need this passé simple to form another tense if you're reading clever stuff, but you don't need to sort of know it to come up with it. You just need to recognize it. Right. Good. So I'm now sending you something else. I'd like you to open, and Claire, I'd like you, no, Brendan, I'd like you to start reading. So 1 second. Lovely. You've all now got a page. Don't tell anyone I make sheets and do the proper teach thing from time to time, because I have a reputation to maintain. So lovely. So could you start reading, Brendan, until I say stop? Or if I talk about something in a way that interests me.
The passé simple, translated in English as either simple past or prétérit.
Good. Now that's really important. You are going to read the word prétérit. You're going to hear the word prétérit. In Spanish, anybody that's done the prétérit, if you're watching this online, anybody, you will come across, el pretérito. You will hear that massively. You'll hear that to talk about English. The prétérit, it's a common thing to call it. All right, carry on.
Is the literary tense, is the literary equivalent of the passé composé, which means it is only used in formal writing, e.g. historical and literary writing, and very formal speech.
Yeah, so sometimes very formal emails like you do. Yeah, carry on.
Okay. In such writing and speech, the passé simple is used alongside the imperfect, just as in everyday speech writing.
As Auntie Claire said, we've got that dilemma still going on. Yep, that's lovely. If you say Cinderella, went to the fucking ball, alors Cendrillon alla, whatever, au château, à palais, au bal, and it's like the palace was beautiful, le palais était beau, we're still going to use was. Okay, lovely, carry on.
Just as it's used in everyday speech writing, the passé composé and imperfect are used together. You will probably never need to actually use the passé simple, but it's important to recognize it. Especially
Good. Now, can I add to this? So I when I first wrote that, I firmly believed that. But then I know a lot of people when I first wrote this and when I did those sheets, we didn't have Netflix. I wasn't getting people to watch a load of Netflix and subtitles and learn French that way. But books are great. But as long as you come across what someone's doing in a book and go, okay, Claire is doing this in the book, but what's the basic verb there? In other words, I don't need you to put shit in the passé sampler. What I actually get you to do is read text in the passé sampler and convert it into oral French, because that's what we need. So I'll be like, okay, Claire, go away and find me some text in a book, learn some verbs from it. Now convert that orally. That's what's more academically going to be an excellent exercise for you. Tom, that's particularly relevant for you. Lovely, lovely. So carry on. So Nathan, can you carry on from where he was? Can you carry on reading, please?
But it is important to recognize it, especially if you read in French a lot, fiction or nonfiction.
Good.
Fortunately,
or porn,
the passé
porn, fan fiction and porn. You know, yeah.
Fortunately, the passé simple is very easy to recognize. If a verb looks weird to you, chances are it's the passé simple.
I know that was a dumb thing for me to write at the time, but I really hold that instead. I really do.
It's been my method for the last 6 months.
Has it really?
Yeah.
The chances are, fella, that you've come across more than one passé simple, as we've just said. Yeah, the chances are you could have come across one of 4 literary tenses. There are videos on them and all of this business. My videos, I mean, yeah. Good, carry on.
How to conjugate it.
Yep.
The passé simple of regular verbs is formed by dropping the infinitive ending and adding the passé simple endings.
That's right. So, can we now just go to... God damn, they make a good curry. I have loads of vegetables in it, by the way. I'm a really boring bitch. I have so much spinach. So, Brendan, can you look at the passé simple document, and can you just acknowledge the top 3 we're comfortable with in the have? Yep. The am, like jam, we knew it was going to have an e after the m. Otherwise, to hear it, can we acknowledge there's an s there? So that's the thing we've got to remember. The am has got an ames, like nous sommes, the mes. At, can we acknowledge there's an s as well? We've got the ent, like the they. Those bottom 3 spellings, can we just get on top of those? Lovely. Now, this is quite important. Can you pop your eyes upon me for a second? Brendan, what was the little poem I taught you earlier? G and C, love. Was it A?
G and C, love,
Was it A, spit and shove anal? Was it B, being tied by silky ribbons? Or was it C, love, G and C, love, I and E?
G and C, love, I and E.
The first 2 are viable as well. So the fact is, when you have a G and a C in French, they are softened by an I and an E. Claire, what is the word for where you park your car? Claire, you're bogan trash. You'd park it on the front lawn. Let's ask someone else. Tom, where do we park a car?
In French?
No, in English. Where do we park a car?
A parking space. A
Yes,
car park? I don't know.
If our house were lucky enough to have one, we park it in.
Garage.
Lovely. What is that word? So lovely. What is that word in French, Claire? What's the word for where Tom's going to park his car in French?
Garage.
Gorgeous pronunciation. Notice that one of those G's is hard and one of those G's is soft. What is after the first G?
Vowel.
But which kind of vowel? So what was my pair? G and C, love, I and E. Which means if you have an I or an E after a G and a C, you will automatically soften the G and the C. The G and the K will become je and se. Okay, so an I and an E automatically soften the G and the C. Without an I and an E, your vowel is going to be ga or gu, or, do you understand what I'm saying? Or go. Yeah, all right. So it's only the E and the I that are going to make it soft. So GA is going to be ga because it's not an I or an E. Does that make sense? Yeah. Are you with me, Claire? Claire, your
Yes,
microphone.
sorry, I'm going to have. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to have to go soon, but I
All
can
right,
listen.
that's fine, that's fine,
I've
that's
just
fine,
got to
that's
get.
fine. Just make Claire. So we're at 1 minute and an hour and 4. Make sure you've watched from an hour and 4 when you before next week. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Good. Good. Lovely.
Bye.
So brilliant. So Nathan, what do we need to add to a G then to soften it? What letter do we add to a G to achieve a softening sound?
I.
Great. Without that E, we'd have mangeant, you know, and all of this business. So how do we please spell in the present tense, Nathan, we eat? How do we spell nous mangeons?
MANGEONS.
Which people forget. They're like, knock off ER, add E, ES, O, N, you know. So the passé simple is an absolutely brilliant example of these rules, because you're going to have a shitload of letters with an A. Yeah, with an A coming on, or a U. So you're going to need these spelling changes necessary, you know, because you're going to have all the A's, and A's don't soften the word. So, Tom, what's the verb to start, beginning with a C?
Commencer.
Mm-hmm. How do we spell we start using nous?
Nous, CONNCONS.
Any accents?
No.
Wrong. What two letters did I just tell you a G and a C like?
A and E.
No, bloody hell, I've gone on about it enough. What two letters you're going to need bloody A and E. What two letters did I tell you a G and a C like?
You have I and E.
Bugger me. I mean, I know I'm a basic ass bitch, but I did sing it 14 times. So what two letters do G and C like, Tom?
I and E.
Great. In commençant, which letter is after the C? Let's say the first time, at the very beginning of the word, what does the C and the O create for us? What sound do we get at the beginning of the word with the C and an O at the beginning of the word commençant? What sound do we get?
Oh.
Good. Would you say that's hard or soft?
I would say that was hard.
Your car is hard, Tom. I knew it. All right. He's got a very hard car, has Tom. Right. Lovely. What is going on with your at the end of the word commençant? Is that hard or soft?
That's hard as well.
No, because otherwise it'd be commençant, wouldn't it? Be the same sound twice.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so is it hard or soft?
Soft.
So therefore, if it's an O, which is not an I or an E, what did we need to add to make that soft?
An E.
But not that. That's what we do with the G. But what do we do with the C?
Oh, an I.
No, a cedilla.
Oh, the thing.
That's right, Tom. How would you say boy? How would you say boy?
Garçon.
How do we spell boy?
GARC cedilla O.
Because what letter is after the O? Shut up, you fool, Luke. What letter is after the C?
Oh.
Do you take my point?
I do. Yeah, you gave that one away though, but I take it.
I know. What is the verb to? How do you say I received? J'ai
reçu.
Lovely. Is that C soft or not?
It is.
And what letter comes after it?
U.
Is that one of my magical I and E?
No.
So what do I therefore need?
A cedilla.
What would happen if I said I lived using the verb vivre otherwise? J'ai vécu.
J'ai vu.
No, the past tense, j'ai vécu.
Oh, j'ai vécu.
So do you see? Do you see?
And it's you, so it's.
So in other words, if you want to modify a G, you add an E. If you want to keep it soft, you add an E. If you want to keep a C soft, add a cedilla. Two different methods. All right. Yep. So it's very important to stress that with the spelling of these verbs. So if I said, for example, commencer, commencer, commencer. Sorry, commencer, commencer, commencer. All three of those are going to need a fucking cedilla. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. All three of them are going to need a cedilla. All right. Lovely. Could you now, while we're there, Nathan? No, Brendan. Could you look at the could you look at the could you look at the spellings of the EEE method? Can we just acknowledge that it's ISISIT? Yes.
Yes.
So present tense, Brendan. How do we spell I finish? Je
finis.
Yeah, how do you spell that in the present tense?
Oh, FINIS.
Lovely. So in a book, je finis looks the same as I finish, I finished. It's exactly the same spelling. So is tu finis, tu finis. Il finit, il finit. Yeah. Nous finissons, nous finîmes, no worries. Vous finissez, vous finissez, no worries. Ils finissent, ils finir, no worries. Yeah. Yeah. Even I'm not as familiar saying them out loud as other French, because we don't say them out loud that much, because you read. But do you see what I'm saying? So sometimes that present tense can get a bit tricky. Right. Someone who's not done it before. So Nathan, could you go to me to the irregulars on the E column? So that's when you've got the next bit down. So if you could keep reading. So where it's got irregular verbs, s'asseoir, conduire, dire, écrire, faire, joindre. Can you see all of those? Yes.
Mhm.
Right. So
Yeah.
Look at Lukey. Come away from that. Put your eyes on me. Nathan, the system that we use is if we can find a form of it with an E, normally, not always, it normally means that is the form we're going to use for the passé simple with the E. So for my mind, by my method, not all of those are irregular. So for example, what's the verb to take, Nathan?
Prendre. J'ai pris.
Great. J'ai pris. Therefore, because there's an acceptable form of E, which we're going to allow, could you say to me, I took, you took, he took, we took?
J'ai pris, tu pris, il prit, nous prîmes, vous prîtes, ils prirent.
And logically, obviously, après, appris, compris, comprire. You got me? Anything else that's going to have that as the verb as well, Tom and stuff? Yeah? Lovely. So looking at that list, how do you say I sat down? Brendan, how do you say I sat down?
Je me suis assis.
Good. Nice accent. So basically, assis would normally work. Yeah, it would normally work, because the past tense is going to go to the SE. So Nathan, would you please do for me, I sat down, you sat down, he sat down, we sat down, you all sat down, they sat down, using the passé simple. Off you go.
Je m'assis, tu t'assis, il s'assit, nous nous assîmes, vous vous assîtes, ils s'assirent.
Good girl. Very nice work. So irregulars worth noticing for me are écrivis, because écrire could go to écrit. So you're very tempted to say écrit, m'écrit, écrire. And it's not, is it? It's obviously écrivis, m'écrivit, écrivir. Possibly remember it like this, the verb to look at, see, like VVV. Scrivere in Latin, to write. You've still got this V that's there, in other languages. Okay. Conduisez, you'd be tempted to say conduit, but it's conduisez. Joignez, that's batshit crazy anyway. You'd have to learn that. Naki, born. Yeah, lovely. Only the thing, and then I want to read some text just for the last couple of minutes, is notice the verb to be is down there as fou. Underneath, so scroll down with your eyes now right to the bottom of the list where we've got all the different ou verbs. Yeah. Underneath, you'll see fou, which is the verb to be we've spoken about. We'll see mourut, which is to die. Yeah. Fuckers die in books all the time. All the time. So would you please say for me, Tom, they died. Mourut is your baseline, mourut.
Sorry,
They died.
I'm losing that. I'm having to message someone who's arriving on a train, and I'm losing the notes.
I feel that a booty call takes priority, so you deal with that, Brendan.
Sorry.
No, it does. I mean it genuinely, legitimately. Just as long as you WhatsApp me photographs. So lovely. You do that, Tom. Tell me when you're back in. Just put your hand up on the screen so I know when you're back in. Yeah, don't worry. So, Brendan, so could you just go through, how do you say Luke died in a book? How do you say Luke died? Luke.
Luc mourut.
Good. Nathan, how do you say they died in a book?
Ils moururent.
Lovely. All right. Final bit of new learning, and then we can do some reading. Hurrah. And basically, and Tom can bring himself back on and ignore his semi. So, can you?
I've actually got to go, but I'll watch from the end. I promise.
You're
Until
going to go and have a Polish wash with a bit of aftershave and a bit of a sponge and get yourself ready.
yeah, exactly. You've
Okay.
got the camera, so you'll be able to tell anyway. So it doesn't matter.
What did you say?
You've got the camera anyway, so you'll be able to tell exactly what I'm doing.
Well, I've got the webcam, of course I have. Exactly. I might finish it there then, so that we don't do any text with only some of you here. All right. So I might just do a little bit of translation for 10 minutes just to fucking round it all off, and I will do some. I will start with the text next week. Your homework, people, as Brendan knows in the group, is to go away and find me a source of French in the Passé Simple from any book, from any Wikipedia, from any whatever, and bring it for us to look at next week. Okay. And to know, I don't often go old school, but to be up to date on what we've done thus far. Is that acceptable? Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Sounds good.
Tom, I hope it ends in pleasure. Lovely, 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 lovely. Good. Let's just do some translation quickly to finish with you two. So say for me, Brendan, Luke, I've done it twice, so I haven't got any excuse.
Luc, je l'ai fait deux fois.
That's it, so I haven't got any
Je l'ai
excuse.
fait deux fois et je n'avais pas en excuse.
I haven't got an excuse.
Je n'ai pas une excuse.
Stand still. What does not having give me? Is it not a negative sentence?
Je n'ai pas.
What does a negative sentence give me, Brendan? It gives me a legitimate use of the word.
Legitimate use of the word.
When I moan about do, dulla, and day, I tell you the only times that you are allowed to use de on their own are after number one of talking about what? When do we get to use a de? One after.
Yes, de after a negative sentence.
Oh, there you go. Is that not the question I just fucking asked? So basically, so finish my order though. So one after a word after expressions of
quantity.
Two after
negative phrases.
Three after what kind of nouns?
Compound nouns.
And four when we've got a preceding what?
When we've got a when we say,
is it A, a slap in the face, B, a kick in the kidneys, or C, a fucking preceding plural adjective?
It'd be the plural adjective.
Brendan, say for me, Luke has beautiful legs. Legs is feminine. Say for me, Luke has beautiful legs. Legs is feminine.
Luke de belles jambes.
No, bugger me. I've fucking done this. Stand still. Say for me, Luke has legs. Which?
Luke a jambes.
No. Think.
Luke a des jambes.
Thank you. That sounds weird as fuck. Say for me, Luke has problems. Say for me, Luke has problems.
Luke a des problèmes.
Lovely, because it's not all problems. Actually, swipe that. It kind of is. Luke a des problèmes. Right. If I said Luke has interesting problems. Luke has interesting problems. How am I going to say that? I've fucking done this, Brendan. Luke has interesting problems. Luca?
Luke a des problèmes intéressants.
No, not at all. Not at all. Luke a des problèmes. Brendan, listen to Auntie Lukey. Preceding plural adjectives. Preceding, it's got to go before. When the plural adjective goes before, you can fucking change it to a de. When it doesn't, you don't. So interesting, does that go after the noun or not?
Goes after.
So am I going to say de or day?
Day.
Good girl. And what am I going to fucking say if I say beautiful legs, which is a preceding adjective? Belle jambe. What fucking word is going to go before belle?
De belles jambes.
Thank you. All right, we've fucking done this.
Luke a des belles jambes.
Not day, de. All right?
Luc a
Luc a de
deux
l'argent.
d'argent.
Just means two, it means duh. We've fucking done this, people, all right? Good. Lovely. So if I was going back to I haven't got an excuse, which you haven't, not having an excuse is a negative sentence. So how would you say for me, I haven't got an excuse? Je n'ai pas.
Je n'ai pas d'une excuse.
Stand fucking still. I'm going to get really fucking pissed off. Duh goes with the noun. Duh goes with the noun. You don't bring in an article. Duh. So listen to Luke again. Save me lots of excuses.
Beaucoup d'excuses.
You there went from duh, expertly joining it with a noun, because it was a quantity. That shit is going to happen in the other events I've just told you about. How would you say, I haven't got excuses? Which is just as much a legitimate reason to use the duh straight into the fucking noun as I've told you. So how would you say I haven't got any excuses? Je n'ai pas de...
Je n'ai pas d'excuses.
That's the fucker, Bren. That's the fucking point. Say for me, I haven't got any friends. I've got shitloads of friends.
Je n'avais pas d'amis.
I haven't got je n'ai pas d'amis. All right, lovely. Say for me, I haven't got any money.
Je n'avais pas d'argent.
Why are we going to the was? I haven't got any money. Je n'ai...
Oh, je n'ai pas d'argent.
Good. So don't fucking neglect this cunting thing. All right, good. Good. Are we clear, Brendan?
Yes,
We've done this one before, have we not?
we have.
Good. Don't make me take down my fucking post of Brendan's improving. Right. Lovely. Brendan, Luke, you're right. I should have listened to you. Luke, you're right. I should have listened to you the first time.
Luc, tu as raison. Je devrais.
I should have
Oh, j'aurais dû t'écouter
the first time.
le première fois.
Good. Nathan, Luke, I heard that your neighbour Sally gave you a mug with a that's funny. I heard your neighbour Sally gave you a mug, which is funny.
Luc, j'ai entendu que ta voisine Sally t'a donné une tasse qui est drôle.
Good. Can we speak a little bit slightly less like you're trying to lure children into a mountain, Luke?
Luc, j'ai entendu que ta voisine Sally t'a donné une tasse qui est drôle.
Lovely. Could you try and smooth it up for me? But this time, could you like not be go slowly and smooth? Oui, j'ai entendu que. Oh, if you get be slow and smooth.
Luc, j'ai entendu que ta voisine Sally t'a donné une tasse qui est drôle.
Yeah, but just be no. Oui, alors Luc, j'ai entendu que ta voisine Sally t'a donné une tasse qui est drôle. You know, like, I don't really like drôle qui est amusante. Lovely. Okay. Good. Brendan, tell me, Luke, what happened. Tell me, Luke, what happened.
Dis-moi, Luc, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
That's it. Similar, Brendan. Tell me what happened, not as a question. Brendan again. Tell me what happened.
Dis-moi, c'est passé?
No, tell me what happened.
Oh, yeah, dis-moi ce que.
What am I going into if I'm going to happen? Am I going into a subject doing a verb or am I going straight into a verb?
Oh oui, dis-moi ce qui se passe.
Past fucking tense.
Dis-moi ce qui s'est passé.
Have I gone over that before?
Yes.
Good. All right. Dis-moi ce qui s'est passé. I'm so excited for you to see this. This is so fucking epically brilliant. Tom? No, Tom's gone. Nathan, do you know what teabagging is?
I do, yes.
It's kind of slightly more amusing a concept in England because we obviously have a lot of tea. I really don't like my
Right.
face beard, but yeah, we obviously drink quite a lot of tea, and around these parts we drink a fucking shitload. So I haven't spoken to Sally in about 18 months. She's a bit of a naughty girl, in all honesty. She kind of let me and my mum down quite seriously. I mean, I used to literally go and cook her a meal every single day. She's a bit wild. Like at 75, the one time I was like, you need food cooking for you. She just had a hip operation. And I was insistent that I was going to cook her some fresh vegetables. And I went over, I was taking the teddy bears off the top of her oven, her hob, because she just didn't have any, you know, she just didn't use the oven. And as I was taking the teddy bears off the top of the oven, Brendan, she went, "Stop! There's a perfectly good line of Coke there." She's 76. So she was like, and she went up to the top of the oven, went, "Oh no, it's just dust." But the fact that it could have been Coke means they had Coke in that house. And I was just like, oh my God, all these people that just neglect their bodies. And I was always so healthy and get fucked over. So teabagging, for the uninitiated, is the concept that, like dipping tea into hot water, that you drop your balls into someone's mouth. So so watch this mug. It's splendid. It's absolutely splendid. It should change. Can you see it on camera?
Unfortunately, yes.
Isn't that bolting? Love teabagging. As if I'm going to drink from that now. Also, whose balls look like that? Mine fucking certainly don't. So oh my God, isn't that disgusting? She's 76. So off you go for me. So say for me, Nathan, so say for me, she gave me a disgusting present.
Il m'a donné un cadeau dégueulasse.
Good. Brendan, what do you want me to do? It was her idea. What do you want me to do? It was her idea.
Oh, I think there's been a crash outside.
Oh my God, I heard that
yeah.
noise.
Yeah, I'd better go and check what's
Go and
happened.
have a look. Oh my God. Brendan, is your other half inside? Oh my God, that was really civic. Did you hear that noise, Nathan?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's fingers crossed. All right, off you go. So save me, Nathan. What do you want me to do?
Tu veux que je fasse quoi?
Yeah, qu'est-ce que tu veux que je fasse? Lovely. So save me. I'm thirsty, but I'm not going to drink from that fucking thing.
J'ai soif, mais je bois pas de cette truc.
Ce truc.
Ce truc. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, putain, alors moi j'ai soif, mais je refuse. Je vais pas boire de ce truc. I had to explain to my mom what it meant. I had to explain to my mom what it meant.
Oh no.
Go on.
J'ai dû expliquer à ma mère ce qui...
No,
ça
going back to what just happened with Brendan. What that meant. Are we bringing in a subject to do the verb?
What that meant. No.
What that meant. What's the verb in what that meant? What's the verb?
Meant.
Great. And who's doing the meaning?
That.
Is that not a subject pronoun?
It is.
So therefore, am I going to use ce qui or ce que?
Ce qui.
I'm going to sit here until you give me the correct answer. Am I going to use ce qui or ce que?
What that meant. Well,
right.
I know the answer is ce que now, but I'm...
Auntie Lucy's going to lose her fucking shit. When do we use ce qui? When do we use ce que? What comes after ce qui? What comes after ce que?
Ce qui is followed by a verb, ce que is followed by a noun.
Well, not necessarily a noun, something doing a verb, a subject doing a verb. Yeah? So, ce qui and ce que are both relative pronouns in this kind of like that thing that something or other happens. So, I like what Nathan is wearing. I don't like at all, understatement, what is happening in the Middle East. Both of these ce quis and these ce que's grab things. They take on the format of a noun. I don't like the situation. Okay, so I could say, I don't like the situation. Je n'aime pas la situation. I don't like what the countries have done. Je n'aime pas ce que les pays ont fait. Je n'aime pas ce qui s'est passé. So they both kind of have this function of pointing to a thing. And how are you describing this thing? You're bringing up, this is, right. So when we talk relative pronouns, we're basically linking a thing or a person to a verbal action to qualify it. So which boy? The boy I'm in love with. Which man? The man who recently passed away. Which drawer? The drawer full of socks or something like that. Yeah? Do you get that that's basically what the relative pronoun is? Yeah?
Yeah.
And a relative pronoun can be linking a stated named noun, like the girl Luke remembers. La fille dont Luc se souvient. The girl that Luke knows. La fille que Luc connaît. The girl that knows Luke. La fille qui connaît Luc. There's all these, the girl Luke's thinking of. La fille à qui Luc pense. There's all these situations where we're linking a stated thing with a verb. Yep. Yep.
Right. Okay.
And ce qui and ce que are basically going to do the same thing, but they're basically like a pronoun of the stated thing. So I like the situation. J'aime la situation. I like it. Je l'aime. You can do that. The situation which scared me, or the situation that scared me, depending if it's a disposable clause or not. So la situation qui m'a fait peur. So I don't like the situation that scared me. You know, je n'aime pas la situation qui m'a fait peur. I don't like, or my mom doesn't like what scares me. Alors, ma mère n'aime pas ce qui m'a fait peur. So ce qui and ce que are kind of referring to in a kind of noun way without stating the noun. Yeah? So in other words, when you use ce qui and ce que, one way to teach them is to say a lot of the time they're going to be like the word what in English when you don't have a question, but you are going to need a person or a subject, you know, something doing a verb after ce que, because the whole purpose of it is that thing that something or else deals with. Yeah, because which
Okay.
group are ce que, which color group is ce que in, please, Nathan?
Ce que would be in red.
Fuck you,
Oh
hard.
no. Yeah, no. Would be in green.
Thank you. Because the verb that comes after ce que is a basic bitch, but someone's got to do that verb, Nathan. Give
Okay,
me a
yeah.
ce que. Give me a sentence with ce que in it. Even, so I like what Tom is doing. J'aime ce que Tom fait. Can you hear that we've got a subject there, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Even the word what. Qu'est-ce que Tom fait? Yeah, que est-ce, so what is it that? Que est-ce que, even that, when you use qu'est-ce que, what kind of a color verb always comes after qu'est-ce que, red, blue, or green?
Green.
Always. Yeah? So I'll ask my question again. What comes after ce qui? Verb. What comes after ce que? Something doing the verb, yeah?
Okay.
Both are going to need a verb. You can't have them without the verb because
Right.
they're there to say that thing that some other shit happens to. If you weren't using a green verb, you wouldn't use ce qui, would you? You'd use ce dont or ce à quoi. Do you understand, yeah?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
ce que is when you're summing up a situation or you're referring to I mean, it might even be a state. So it's a little bit more global. Like what are you wearing, Nathan? What color t-shirt have you got on?
I'm wearing a pink button up.
Pink looks good on your skin. So if I basically said, I like the color that you've chosen, j'aime la couleur que tu as choisi, j'aime la couleur que tu as choisi. When you say, I like what you've chosen, it's like a pronoun, but it's a little bit more general, isn't it? It's like it's summing it up rather than totally copying pasting it. So if you say, I like the color, j'aime la couleur, I like it je l'aime, that is very fucking much representing the word color. Do you get that? Yeah.
Mhm.
Whereas if I say I like what you've worn, it's not specifically referring to the top, the pants, whatever. It's just more an overview. It's like an overview pronoun. Does that make sense? But
Yeah.
it's still being used. When do we use this? So up until now, I've kind of said subject, object, subject, object, pronoun. You know, and then I've said, you know, what is a question, what is a non-question. But I could really say it's just a different kind of pronoun. It's kind of an overview general pronoun that must be attached to a verb. Suki and sukkah need attaching to a verb as much as le needs attaching to a verb to be it, to mean the word it. Yeah, but one goes directly into it and one goes via a subject. All right. So I can't even remember what our original sentence was now. Can you?
Yeah, it was. I had to explain to my mother what that meant.
Lovely. So in the sentence, what good man, well done. What that meant, if we've introduced the that to do the meaning, am I in Saki or Sukkah? I might have
What?
to kill you. I might have to fucking kill you. I've just spent 7 minutes. Which one goes into a verb via somebody doing something?
Sukkah.
And which one goes straight into the verb?
Suki.
So if it's going via that to do the meaning, is it Saki or Sukkah?
Sukkah.
Thank you. Failure to remember this again will result in execution. Okay?
Noted.
So say I had to tell my mother what that meant.
J'ai dû dire à ma mère ce que ça
Voulait,
veut dire.
meant, past tense.
Ce que voulait dire.
And again?
J'ai dû dire à ma mère ce que ça voulait dire.
Go again, ce que ça voulait dire.
J'ai dû dire à ma mère ce que ça voulait dire.
Look at me, I've got no standards. I'm drinking from that. No. I've had fucking balls in my mouth. I've got no problem, but they didn't look like that. Off you go. I hope everybody's okay in France with Bren's situation. Stephanie, I hope everybody's okay.
Okay, good. Yeah. Oh, you mean to... Sorry.
Yeah, life is translatable.
J'espère que tu vas bien avec Brendan et sa situation.
Good. Okay. He hasn't hung up, so he's still outside.
Il n'a pas fini l'appel.
Raccroché. Now, you won't remember this because you say things like make a call. Well, your generation don't even make calls. You just send messages. But basically, when we used to pick up and hang up, what are those two verbs in French? We've got, what are those two verbs? I don't mind fingers. I've literally been today putting my hands into soil at the back of something, digging, like, because I can't feel my hands properly enough with gloves that totally cover everything. So I'm sorry, I've got the most gammy gardening hands. I'm about to go and sit in the bath. So yeah, so
is it prendre et mettre?
No, décrocher and
Décrocher, raccrocher. Okay.
Yeah, to hang up on somebody. Yeah, you know, oh my God, the bastard hung up on me. Il m'a raccroché au nez. Il m'a raccroché au nez.
Okay. Il m'a raccroché au nez.
Yeah, il m'a raccroché au nez.
Right.
Lovely. The temptation to use this as the still image that represents this video will be enormous, won't it? You know. My God. I mean, I wouldn't even give this house room. I'm going to have to take it back to London. It's just not worth it for the joke. The irony is my mum and I spent so much time this afternoon going through loads of stuff. Like, do we want to keep this? Do I want to keep this? Yeah, and to then fill the house with more crap. I'm like, crap is the last thing I need.
Sorry to interrupt you. This is on behalf of Brendan. We've got a bit of an incident here with the drunk driver who's totaled their car outside the house. So Brendan's not going to be coming back to the lesson this evening. I hope that's okay.
Just hang up his phone. Listen, but is the guy okay? Because we were worried.
We're not sure whether he's got a head injury or whether he's absolutely shit-faced, but it could be either because that's French drivers for you.
It can be.
Oh.
Listen to me. Be careful moving him, and if he's had alcohol, his head will bleed a lot more. So try not to move him just yet. Keep him where he is. If he's bleeding, like take something cold out and put it on a wound. Can you see if there's any blood on the forehead?
We'll be okay. Brendan's a medical professional, so we're okay. We're waiting for the sapeurs.
Okay. Les pompiers sapeurs.
Okay. All right. Thank
Good,
you.
good. All right. Take care.
Bye now.
Let's just get rid of Brendan's phone then. He just doesn't know how to remove. He doesn't know how to hang up. Good. Well, he's clearly the top to Brendan's bottom, isn't he? Moody little git. I mean, as if I could have guessed. Lovely. So, we just had to get a little insult in against the French, didn't we? That was lovely. Thanks very much.
I know.
I was just like, oh, lovely. Did we need that subjectively? Did we? No. Lovely. So, bless him. So, save me. He managed to insult the French. He's only just met me and he managed to insult the French.
Il est arrivé à insulter les Français.
Il est arrivé. So he's only just met me and he managed to insult the French.
Oui, il est arrivé?
No, he's only just met me. He's
Oh.
met me and he managed to insult the French.
C'est la première fois
Yeah, but that's
que
il vient de me rencontrer. Il vient de me rencontrer.
il vient de me rencontrer et what am I doing?
I don't know.
Wait, so I'm confused. So did you say il est arrivé à?
Yeah, but before I get there, so he's only just met me. Il vient juste me rencontrer. Il vient juste me rencontrer, and he managed to insult the French. Il est arrivé à insulter les Français. Do you understand why I'm using il est arrivé à there, Nathan?
Yeah, but why is it with être?
Why wouldn't it be?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Say for me, I arrived.
Je suis arrivé.
Great. Say for me, he arrived.
Il est arrivé.
Your usage is figurative. He got to the point of being able to do this. Yeah? Okay?
Oh, okay.
Do it. Okay? Lovely. All right? So now say for me, he yes, to say for me he managed to do it. Right, let me tell you what's going on. Listen, let me tell you what's going academically, what's going on. There are times in French where your brain goes, go have with that version of the verb and go be with that version of the verb. And your brain is troubled using be because you think this isn't like the verb to arrive. You think this is a different version of the verb to arrive. It still uses the verb to be. It's just using the verb to be differently. It's
Right.
just to arrive differently. Say for me, that happens to me. Ça m'arrive. Say for me, that happened to me.
Ça m'est arrivé.
Lovely. Have we not gone over that? Yes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Say for me, that happened to you. That happened to you. Ça
t'est arrivé.
Lovely. And we spoke about, because Lukey Lou pushes you bitches, we spoke about how your liaison normally with you. So what normally would be you arrived if I did the liaison?
Tu es arrivé.
Good girl. And so the fact is, if we now say ça t'est arrivé, we're not going to say t'es arrivé. You're not used to saying t'est arrivé, are you? Because normally it'd be tu es arrivé in slang. Yes,
Right.
say for me, arrivé.
T'es arrivé.
Ça t'est arrivé. That happened to you.
Ça t'est arrivé. Ça t'est arrivé.
Okay. What would be that happened to him in a book as a one-off action?
Ça lui arriva.
Yes. Was tonight useful on the passé simple, do you think?
It was useful and very entertaining. It was great.
I wasn't expecting the entertaining thing. What level was it entertaining?
I guess just learning new things and like the speed between the whole group was good.
Yes, because I was like, right, come on. Because I was a little bit more bang, 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 because it got a bit
Mhm.
the other group. I love the other group. They're gorgeous. They're all really, really capable. Denise is capable. Bree's capable. You know, they're all really, really good. But I was like, come on. Because it was a bit slack in focus, because even though it's new information, I never have a problem with people not knowing stuff if they've not done it. But when I've told you something, it's not, and people get this so confused. They think it's like me and some arrogance. Oh, what am I? I'm a piece of shit. It's not about that. It's about the degree to which you are listening, and linguists listen. Do you know what I mean? You can't be a linguist unless you super, super listen. Do you know what I mean? And stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I was just a little bit like, we are not going to have this go wrong again. I'm going to make this super bang, 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 bang. And also, I don't mean this rudely, but every now and then I turn into proper class teacher rather than what we do. And I do know my subject inside out, and I know how incrementally to teach the Passé Simple. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, but it's just a really good thing to have, because you need to be able to like go to like a train station, pick up like a little yellow spined book and read it and extrapolate verbs from it. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it'd be a really nice thing, particularly for Tom in his academia and all of this business, you know, to literally say, I know every French tense that is available. That's quite cool, isn't it? Don't you think? As a kind of, you know, little tour de force. It would just
Yeah.
really badass cool for somebody. So somebody said to you, do you think you speak good French? And, or do you think, so somebody said to you, do you speak good French? And you went, tu t'en rends compte, tu t'en rendais compte, tu t'en rendrais compte, tu t'en rendrais compte, il y a t'en rendre compte, avant de t'en rendre compte, then the top one, tu t'en rendis compte, tu t'en rendis compte, did all of those as well. Then went to tu t'en rendu compte, tu t'en étais rendu compte, tu t'en seras rendu compte, tu t'en serais rendu compte, il est intéressant que tu t'en sois rendu compte, après t'en être rendu compte, tu t'en fus, fus rendu compte, tu t'en fus rendu compte, rendu compte, with the whole, if somebody literally did that to me in front of me in a job interview, I'd be like, do you know what I mean? I'd be so kind of like,
That's first date material.
that's first date material.
Yeah, when you're showing off.
See, that's what I do on a first date, but yeah, maybe in the sack, but yeah, yes. Wow, is that how you pull them? Is it by
Oh, of course.
So level with me. Tom is on a booty call, correct? By the look on his face.
I don't know. It seemed like it was either a booty call or something bad, but I couldn't tell which one.
When he said, "I've got to go," I couldn't tell whether it was sexual excitement or somewhat being afraid. But he's an academic and he's British, so both of those could be the same look.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's the same
when he was,
emotion.
I've got to go and pick someone up from a train. I was just a little bit like, are you sexually excited? / are they going to like murder you? Like, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Tom, I met Tom in person, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's lush. I have the only people I've not. So Monday night is full of people I've not met in person. Most of the other group I know. I know my Brenda. I know my Stephen. Oh no, Stephen in the group. Oh my god, I'm so super close to Stephen. I don't know Stephen Savory in person. Maggie loads. God, loads them loads. Brenda loads. Jason, yes. Flo, yes. Robbie, God, yes. Robert, the new dude, no, but probably will do. Who else do you have in the group that I currently still teach that you'll have had the videos from? Brooklyn, yes, I knew her in person before. I knew Daniel, the American kid, no, not met in person. Who else is in the group that you might have had? Nina, yes. Oh no, Nina gets them. She doesn't do it. Elizabeth, yes. No, and have met. Lovely girl. Yeah. So it's weird when I haven't met people. I feel like I need to write this wrong. But I'm coming to Paris soon because I'm going to Besançon by myself to go and see Tom for a little bit when I have my hip done. So I will probably I'll be like, Tom, Nathan, get your ass into the town, come and see me. Do you know what I mean? And all this.
Yeah, that would be great.
Good, right. Wasn't that dude really off with me? He was so like assy. But anyway, I will let you go. Well done. If you've watched this, people, I never remember to say this at the beginning. I so should. If you've watched this and you've survived to the end, firstly, well done you. Secondly, please remember that the people that do this group make a donation. So yeah, can you go to the coffee website, which will be attached underneath? And yes, and anything would be appreciated. That'd be very much appreciated. The podcast is still available. If you wish to learn any more about the Passé Simple and follow along next week, I will pop the link underneath with the sheet that the guys have done. But I strongly recommend you follow along with the video rather than just, you know, whatever. If you recommend it to anybody else, Passé Simple is the kind of stuff that comes up with in schools and universities quite a lot. So if you are recommending this to somebody else, can you not just read the sheet? Can you watch it along as well? All right, take care. Loads of love. I will speak to you soon, Nathan. Good job. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Luke.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.